Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be doing our lessons on the computer, which is a little bit different than what we're used to. So, what I want you to start with is if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, I want you to grab that now, okay? If you don't have anything to write with, that's okay too. You can follow along and just watch the video, okay? So, we're going to start with some math today. We're going to do a quick review on what we learned about last week. I want you to start by drawing a circle and dividing it into quarters. I'm going to give you a minute to think about what that word quarters means. So we're going to draw a circle. Okay. Does anyone know what that word quarter means? Okay. If you said that quarters means 4, you are correct. I'm going to divide my circle into 4. 4 pieces. Remember, we talked all about fractions last week, and fractions is when you split something into equal parts. Okay, and equal means that they are all the same. When you're drawing, it may not be perfect, but that's okay. We understand, though, that the word quarters means 4. All right. What if I were to draw or color in that little piece right there? Does anyone know what we would call that? If you said 1/4, you are correct. There's a couple other names for that as well. How many parts of that circle did we color in? 1. How many total parts are there? 4. So we are coloring 1 out of 4. There's one more name I'm thinking of for my colored in part or my shaded part of the circle. If you said 4th, you are correct. We could call that a 4th. Good. All right, we are going to move on and do some more review practice. Okay. Remember, mental math is math that we can do in our brain, but we have some help here just in case. So it says 10 more than 40. That word more means that our number is getting bigger. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find 40 on my number grid. If I don't already know what 10 plus 40 is, this 100 chart or my number grid's going to help me, okay? So when my number's getting bigger, I'm going down the number grid. So if I go 10 more, I'm just going down 1. So 10 more than 40 would be 50. That word less tells me that my number is getting smaller. When I have less, I'm subtracting. Remember, when I subtract, I go back, and that's the same on my number grid. So if I'm subtracting from 40, I'm going backwards 1. So 40 minus 10 equals 30. Alrighty. Let's do another practice problem. Okay, 10 less than 53. Remember, it's very important that you pay attention to the words that they are using. Less means that my number is getting smaller. I need to find 53 on my number grid. Oh, I found 51, 52, 53. If I am going 10 less, I'm going backwards by 10. Remember, each of these columns is called a number family. They have the same last name. All of those numbers have the same ending digit of 3. So if I'm going backwards 10, I'm just going up 1. 10 less than 53 is 43. Okay? If I am going 10 more than 53, then I am going to find 53 and go up 1. 10 more than 53 is 63. Okay, let's do one more practice and then we'll get started with our lesson. Okay, I'm going to look at 90. 10 more than 90. Okay, I'm going to find 90 on my number grid. 90. Oh, I found it. 10 more tells me my number is getting bigger. So I'm going to go down 1, 10 more. than 90 is 100. Now the next problem I really need to pay close attention to because it says 10 less than 10. So I'm going to go find 10 on my number grid. Oh, I see it. 10 less than 10. I can't go backwards one. I can't go backwards. So what do I need to do? I could count backwards sometimes. But I also know that if I have 10 and I'm doing less than 10, 10 less than 10, it means I'm taking away 10. If I have 10 and I take away 10, I have nothing less. So 10 less than 10 is 0. Good job. All right. We're going to get started with our job for today. So today's job, okay, we are going to be composing shapes. We're going to be composing some shapes. Miss Crouch, what does that word compose mean? That word compose means make. We're going to be making shapes using other shapes. Okay, so we've talked about shapes a lot this school year. Let me show you what I mean by making a shape. We're going to start here. Right here I have a gray square. We don't have anything in that square yet. I know that that's a square because it has 4 sides that are all the same size. Okay? 4 sides that are all the same size. I want to make a square using other shapes. I cannot use the hexagon because that doesn't make a square. But I see some other little squares. I'm going to try that. I can take these little squares and place them over my gray square. And they fit just perfect right over that square. I just used 4 squares to compose a larger square. We're going to practice making a triangle in 3 different ways. We're going to use this website right here to help us. So there's a couple different ways I can use these shapes to make other shapes. Okay? So I'm going to start with a trapezoid right here. Okay? I'm going to move that trapezoid down. I want to make a triangle. How in the world will Miss Crouch use other shapes to make a triangle? Well, I think if I add another triangle on top of that trapezoid, I would be able to make a triangle. Let's see if this works. Now, what do I remember about a triangle? A triangle has to have 3 sides and has 3 corners. Let's see if this makes a triangle. 1, 2, 3 sides and 1, 2, 3 corners. That does, in fact, make a triangle. Let's see if I can make a triangle another way. Okay. I'm going to start here with this rhombus. I'm going to use the rhombus, and I'm going to use another triangle to help me here. I can turn this triangle. Oh, that's not quite a triangle, but we're almost there. Let's see if I put a triangle on top. Oh, looks like I did make a triangle. I have 3 sides and 3 corners. There's one other way that I can make a triangle that I see. I'm going to use some smaller triangles to help me make a big triangle. Let's see if I can do it. One, 2. 3. And I need the top of my triangle. Looks like I made another triangle. It's not going to look exactly perfect, but that's okay. I have 3 sides and 3 corners. I just made a triangle using different shapes. You can use smaller triangles to compose a big triangle. You can use a rhombus and 2 smaller triangles, and you can use a trapezoid in a triangle. All right, we're going to try to make another shape here, okay? I'm going to erase all the stuff that we put on here. I'm going to try to make a trapezoid. is a trapezoid. I'm going to try to make a trapezoid using other shapes. Here I have a rhombus. I see that there's another shape that would fit perfectly to make a trapezoid here. A triangle. I'm going to have to adjust it and turn it. I see that the rhombus with the triangle makes a trapezoid. Let's see if I can do it another way. Could I use a hexagon? Oh no, that's way too big. What about the square? Would a square work? No, I don't think a square would line up with any other shape to make the trapezoid. There's one more way I think I can do this. I'm going to try to make a trapezoid using some triangles. So I'm going to move my triangles. Okay. One more. Did I do it? Oh, yes. So there's two different ways that I just made a trapezoid. I have a rhombus with a triangle, and then I use 3 smaller triangles to make a trapezoid. Remember, when we are making shapes out of other shapes, we're composing shapes. Okay, just like in music, there's composers that make music. We are composing shapes. We're making shapes. We're just using other shapes to help us. What you are going to do now is you're going to go on your slides. Remember how we get to those slides? We are going to go to Citizenship Canvas. Okay, you're going to those slides and you are going to click on the solar eclipse button and it will bring you right to your work. You're going to use these 4 slides to practice making different shapes. You are going to be composing a hexagon. There are lots of ways that you can compose a hexagon or make a hexagon. So you're going to take the shapes that are there and you're going to position them to make the other shape. If you need to cover the shape to help see if it works, that works, and then you can move it over. Okay? You have 4 different practice problems. If you need help, you can always go back and rewatch this video, okay? Or your grown-up can send Miss Crouch an email. But there are 4 practice problems. When you are finished with these practice problems, you are going to move down to the last slide, and you can make your own shapes or your own picture using the different shapes on the screen, okay? Remember, we want to click the little microphone to listen to what it says, okay? We'll give you your directions. Alrighty, when you are done with this, then you can move on to the phonics lesson. As always, if you have any questions, let Miss Crouch know.